Could I just say one more thing about this tribes thing?
Sure, go ahead.
This argument that the environment has created the different tribes is akin to evolutionism, but the problem with it is that we don't see any change to morphology. I mean, a human being still has 2 eyes, 2 ears. They're in the same location in their body. The body plan hasn't changed. There are no new structures in the body. So evolution contends that from bacteria to man is trillions of morphological changes. But every single human being in this world, no matter whether they're a Hindu, a Slavic, Germanic, or Asian, or any other tribe of man, has exactly the same morphology. They all have exactly the same structures. Not one human being has any structure in their body that every other human being does not. And we see this with breeds of dog as well. They all have the same morphology. Longer hair is not a new morphological feature. It's simply an adaptation of an existing feature. So for evolution to be true, you would have to provide evidence that morphology itself has changed. And the various tribes of mankind that we have, there's no evidence of morphological change whatsoever. That's all I wanted to say on that.
So the question, can the idea of evolution and creationism, can the idea of evolution and creationism coexist? If not, why?
I'll jump in if you guys don't mind. And then, because this is one thing I always talk about, is from a Christian standpoint, I think all of us here, atheist, Christian, whatever faith or what belief is, we would all agree that when we went to our school, if we went to a government-run public school, they never taught the creationist standpoint, at least in none of the schools I know out here in the USA. They will teach evolution, but they not once mention the G word, God. But as a Christian, when you read the very first book of Genesis, and I won't go, oh, by the way, D-Man, I'm timing myself, so I don't want to go over 2 minutes. Okay. If you read the very first book of Genesis, it says, and Christians believe the Bible, it says, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. I won't read the whole thing, but I'm going to just go through some mentions of how God was involved with creation, which totally denies evolution and the way that it's taught in our government-run schools. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness, and God called the light day, and God said, and God made, and God called, and God said, and God called. I mean, just the very first page, there's like, 20 references to God being part of the creation, yet it is suspicious. I'll use the word, it is very suspicious that people that do not believe in God are pushing evolution through the school system, which we all know that, number one, the Bible used to be freely read in schools. They took that out. And number two, evolution was not always taught in schools. They added that. So we see a change in our society as we get more and more towards humanism. But how much time do I got? So it is obvious that you cannot be a Christian and deny, I guess you could say, well, I'm a Christian, but I'm denying the whole book of Genesis. Well, then you just denied that God created man, and pretty soon they're denying something else, and then pretty soon they're denying the whole Bible. I think it's a purposeful plan to put evolution in schools, so it does cause people to basically throw out the whole Bible. That's my opinion. I could see it, especially out here in liberal California. I'm done.
I've met plenty of Christians who do just that. They believe in all the Christian stuff, but they also believe in evolution. I just thought I'd throw that out there. I've sort of said to them, does that work? You know, you can't reject part of the Bible, surely. You know, if you think that part's wrong, then that throws the whole thing out there into being, you know, potentially false orders.
The problem with evolution is that it is the religion of death, struggle, and cruelty. It's not compatible with the Bible scriptures. Fossils are not evidence for evolution. Nobody can claim that any particular creature that left bones behind ever had offspring. There are not seen mountains of bones in all areas of the globe. The Bible states that creatures produce offspring after their kind. They do not morph into other different types of creatures. That's the problem with evolution.
All right. Let's see. Nephilim, do you want to hit on this right quick?
I agree. I agree. What we don't see, as I stated before, which this gentleman just said in a roundabout way, is we don't see morphological change. And evolution contends that there has been trillions of morphological changes, and the fossil record.
What about babies born with extra limbs?
That's called a deformity, and it will be removed by one of 3 levels of error correction in the gene, in the cell of every living creature. There are up to 3 levels of error correction. And this is why some human being born with what looks like a tail will not give birth to children who have something that looks like a tail. It's because it's a repetition of genetic information caused by a random genetic mutation. That mutation is error corrected by the proteins, polymerase, which ensure the integrity of the homobox genes. And that is why people born with an extra mouth don't give birth to children who have extra mouths. Or why when they mutate a fly in a laboratory and it gets an extra set of wings, the offspring of that fly will not have an extra set of wings. There are occasions where the deformity is passed on.
Can I jump in right quick, Evan?
Yeah, sure.
All right, now, I'll expand on that one quite a bit. Now, when I was born, I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, hypermobility syndrome of that disease. I was also born, and I didn't know this until I actually started looking at EDS, was 3% of people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome are born club-footed. I was born severely club-footed. I've had my right foot reconstructed. But yet, both of my sons, neither one of them had any type of deformity.
It can be passed on, but it's relatively rare, and when it is passed on, it typically disappears within 1 to several generations of any species. So that's part of the error correction, the incredible intelligent design of our genome, that gross deformities are weeded out by error correction in the genetics of the organism.
Okay, now I believe everybody hit on that question. Am I correct?
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is one that was asked by my wife because she gets asked this. How can you have faith in something you can't see or observe?
I'll take it. You know, I when I was an atheist, you guys, and I have a lot of friends that are atheists. I'm on YouTube. I have subscribers that are atheists. We do not agree with each other, but we try to agree to disagree agreeably. We were in the chat room last night. I know some of you guys were in the chat room, and there were, I better time myself. There was an atheist there, and I had talked to him before. I won't mention his name on the radio show, and I said, this is what was shocking to me as an atheist when I started reading the Bible. What Jesus teaches is totally opposite of atheism. When Jesus resurrected, we know that Thomas said, well, unless I'll paraphrase, unless I see him, I'm not going to believe. Jesus has the audacity to say, blessed are they that have not seen and believe. Now, what he meant was that it is not dishonorable to have faith. It's honorable to have faith. But also, your wife brings up a good thing. I think people should research the historical person of Jesus Christ. You could read about, just type in, go to sowhataboutjesus.com. We got that from Oprah.
That'll be covered within the next question, Chuck.
All right, I won't get into that then. But yeah, you don't have to have faith without seeing. You could actually research it. But some things in life that we don't see, we know exist. For example, we know there's stars out there that we haven't seen, but we know they exist. So because we have not seen something does not then carry it to the logical conclusion that it doesn't exist. Otherwise, we limit ourselves in reality.